Hey y'all, Ash and Kaylee here. I don't know why I said y'all, but anyways, today we are going to be talking about why we are dairy free and why we believe that you should be as well. We're going to be going over signs that you have a dairy allergy. We're going to be going over signs that you're addicted. We're going to be going over benefits of going dairy free. We're going to be going over ways to become dairy free and alternatives. And
delicious alternatives.
Yes, delicious alternatives. And we're basically going to be just having a discussion and then going over at the end kind of your ways around it if you need to consume dairy.
Yes, a few exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So to begin though, because it is a really popular topic with a lot of confusion. So we're going to start with a little quote that Kaylee has, and then after that we're going to go into a quick true and false that we want you guys to participate in and let us know if you think it's true but also, or false, and then also what you thought before if the answer was wrong. Okay.
Yeah, so basically we did a bunch of research. Even though we already have our opinions on it, we wanted to make sure that when we came to do this live, that it wasn't just our opinion and that we had some facts to back everything up. For those of you that are skeptical or for those of you that think that we're kind of bogus or whatever, we wanted to have some information to back it up. So one of our resources that we used was this book called Food, What the Heck Should You Eat?, which is the book that we're doing right now for our Royally Fit online book club.
Yeah.
So he asks a question in this book when he talks about dairy, and I thought it was a really awesome question and I wanted to read it out loud to you guys. So he says, if someone handed you a beverage that you knew would cause you weight gain, bloating, gas, allergies, eczema, and brittle bones, and possibly even cancer, would you drink it? Would you chug 3 cups of it a day? Would you encourage your children to drink it? Probably not. Yet, the federal government tells us that milk is the perfect food that we should lap up daily in spite of the large and growing body of research showing the lack of benefits and the awful side effects. So that's just how he starts the dairy conversation, which is boom, he just goes for it.
Yes.
But we did want to do a little bit of true and false.
Yes, because there is a lot of confusion around this. So, and these are really popular ones that there's confusion around. So like I said, again, chime in. Hey,
as
Lynn.
quick as you can, give your truth. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong.
Yeah. So first question, is low-fat milk better for you than full-fat milk?
So for a lot of years, we've been told that low-fat, milk is better. However, that actually is false. If you are going to consume the dairy, you want to have that high fat content. When you see skim milk, it just means that the fat's been removed and that sugar has been replaced. Sugar is going to cause weight gain, inflammation, and a bunch of other stuff you don't want to deal with. So low-fat milk is worse for you than full-fat milk.
Yes, always go full-fat when possible, even outside of milk.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay, next question. Children need to drink milk to build strong bones and teeth. We hear this one so much.
I think that's probably the most controversial one, is about kids and milk, and it's probably the one that we'll get the most flack for.
Yes.
So let us know what you think. Do kids need to consume dairy to have strong bones and teeth? We see there is 28 of you watching. Be brave and tell us what you think, okay? We want to have a discussion with you.
Yeah.
So it is actually false. There's no research that proves that consuming dairy actually strengthens your bones, I should say. In fact, there's research to prove otherwise, that it actually does promote osteoporosis because the levels of calcium versus the levels of phosphorus, it's just not a good ratio, and it's actually pulling calcium from your bones. Mm-hmm. You're going to be a lot more successful giving them foods that are high in calcium, that are vegetable options. Mm-hmm. Things like sesame seeds, spinach, collard greens, all those things are going to have a way better impact on your child's health than the dairy will.
Yes. I get this question a lot with Rowan, and people that challenge me, even when I give them the points and they just still don't get it, I say, what about the children that live in other countries that have never consumed milk? It's against their religion to consume any sort of animal product. There's actually no known causes. They don't even know what osteoporosis is.
And a lot of third world countries, they don't.
Yeah, and it's no fault of society, because in North America especially, it's drilled into us from our pediatricians, from our personal doctors, from even dietitians, and just in commercials, milk does a body good. So
got milk.
We don't want you to feel guilty for this. No. We just kind of want to enlighten you with some new information, because we have been hammered for years and years and years and years to think that children especially, as well as all adults, but children especially need milk for strong teeth and bones, and it's not true.
And we understand the resistance. I grew up on a dairy farm.
Yeah, we should have prefaced with that.
Okay, like there's a good chance I could be like an outcast from my family after this, but we'll leave that out. But I grew up drinking tons and tons of milk. I was addicted to dairy. And the more and more research that I did, and here's one thing I do want to chime in, is that you will be able to find tons of research that supports consuming dairy. But you need to follow the money trail. Who paid for the study? Why was the study put on? Who was doing the study? You need to actually look at these questions. So you can read something that's all pro-dairy, but you need to do the fact checking. You need to do the research. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
A lot of the times, before we move on to the next question, but a lot of the times the studies are funded by the dairy industry.
A lot of the time, almost all the time. You have to understand it's one of the biggest industries in North America.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why they want you to consume it.
Yeah, they want to make money.
Yes.
Okay, so next question. We have 3 more. Dairy is a great source of vitamin D. This is another one we hear a lot for people because we don't consume dairy on a regular basis. This is another one, so yeah, I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't consume or doesn't have a lot of vitamin D. It's fortified. It's been added in. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best vitamin D and it's not going to be the most absorbable vitamin D for you. Vitamin D3 is what you want to consume. It's not guaranteed that they're putting vitamin D3 in the milk. There's lots of other foods that you can get that have vitamin D. Sunlight is the best form of vitamin D, but everybody in Canada, is deficient in vitamin D. So you should look into taking a proper supplement, like vitamin D3. That's going to provide you everything you need with your vitamin D. You don't need to get it from milk or foods that have it fortified.
Yeah, exactly. 2 more. Yogurt is a health food.
So this one's definitely up for debate a little bit more. There's kind of 2 ways to look at it. One, if you're doing, again, low fat, and if you're doing one that's sweetened, it's glorified junk food, it's dessert, it is not healthy for you. If you're somebody that's not super sensitive to allergies, which we will get into later to help you figure out if you are, if you seem to be fine on yogurt, because it is a little easier to digest than straight up milk, then you could do organic, full fat, grass fed. That would be something that
unsweetened.
And unsweetened, yes. It might, but people get about that. They're like, well, it has probiotics and live cultures. It doesn't have enough to make a difference. That's, again, something that they tell you to get you to buy it. Yes. You can buy probiotics that have, I think a lot of them were like, we have 1 billion. 1 billion's really not going to do anything for you, to be honest. You wouldn't be able to eat enough yogurt for it to do good for your guts.
Yes, and the irony is that a lot of people are eating the wrong yogurt, so it actually has the opposite effect on your gut.
Because the sugar in it.
Yes, so it's actually bad for your gut flora. So yeah, even though it's promoted, like you'll get the little like, I don't know, Danyan or Yoplait or whatever that says like fortified with, or not fortified, it just says has the probiotics in it. But a lot of the times they are actually doing more damage to your gut than good. So yeah, it's just a marketing ploy.
And just so you guys know too, this wasn't like an easy thing for us to break up with dairy. I used to be so addicted to those Yops, like the drinkable yogurt. I was obsessed with those when I was a kid, and I thought I was making a healthy choice.
Yeah, dairy is very addictive, which we'll get into as well. All right, the last one, lactose intolerance affects most adults.
So do you guys think that's true or false? Lactose intolerance affects most adults. So, do you want to see what she says there?
Exactly. I believe we need at least 10 to 12 billion as a bare minimum.
I completely agree. And I remember I was actually at a conference or a talk with Julie Danilek, who is like a celebrity nutritionist who I adore. And she was talking about probiotics, and she said, always look for one that contains at least 50 billion. And I was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh, I'd only been taking a probiotic that had 4 billion. I had no idea. So the higher you can get, the better. Yeah, which means it is going to be more expensive. However, it's going to have way more bang for your buck, and it's going to actually be making changes in your body that you need. Yeah, investing in your health.
Yeah. So to answer that question.
Oh, it is, what was the question again? I forget.
Is that most adults are lactose
Yes,
intolerant.
it is true.
Yes.
At a bare minimum, they say 70% of all adults are lactose intolerant. And that is them being very generous. I've read studies where they think it's up to close to 90% of people.
Yes, especially in North America. Like
Yes.
the people that aren't as sensitive to it tend to be in different countries because they're consuming milk that is not industrialized. That's actually coming from a farm onto their, or not onto their plate, into their glass. So it's a lot different. And I see Lindsay said, if it affects me, so yes. And it also can be an intolerance for people that don't think it's affecting them, which again, we're going to get into a little bit later. But a lot of people are like, it doesn't affect me. Like, I'm fine. But they just don't know the signs.
Yeah.
So we'll be getting into that. And not just lactose, even whey protein really bothers my system.
Whey protein seems to bother a lot of people. It's kind of crazy. Vegan protein powders are taking off. We're not vegans. We're not preaching veganism by any means. But it seems that vegan protein powders are way easier for you to digest than the whey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that was the true and false. We hope that was a bit enlightening. We can't wait to hear what you guys think of those, if it was a little bit of surprise or not so much. But yeah, and then now we're going to get into the rest. And feel free to chime in whenever you want. We'll do our best to answer your questions during.
Yes.
So now we're going to go into signs of being allergic to dairy.
And if you have any of these signs, please be brave. Let us know. Even give us a thumbs up so we know. We really want to we want to hear what you guys have to say. We're super interested in this.
Yeah, or even if we haven't mentioned one, like say what you think your sign is.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like chime in, tell us what it is, because even for myself, I have a dairy intolerance and it has varied over the years. Like at one point it was like this thing, and then at one point it was this thing. So it can vary. So yeah, signs you're allergic to dairy, diarrhea, or the opposite end of the spectrum, constipation. I used to be diarrhea as a kid. I know, very lovely to think about. And then now I'm constipation. Like if I have dairy, now I'm sometimes I'll get diarrhea, but typically it's constipation, and like for a couple days. Another one, gas, bloating, swelling in the abdominal pain, cramping, nausea, which not a lot of people associate with dairy intolerance, vomiting, headaches, migraines, acne. That is a huge one. Huge. And I'd like to add in that for my personal is also like rashes. So a lot of people think, oh, this isn't acne. Yeah, you can almost get like a rash, almost like an allergic reaction, like on your face. And typically if you have like a reaction on your face around here, a lot of the times that actually has to do with food intolerances, where if you get acne around your chin, that is more hormonal. Okay, another couple, mucus in throat and nose. And you'll notice more snoring as a result. So a lot of people get like the postnasal drip when they consume dairy. I know we've talked about my husband Matt having that. It is so obvious to me when he has had dairy because he will snore that night.
Oh, same with Justin.
Yeah.
Oh my, and same with me. If I have nights, I'm not perfect, where I pig out on cheese, and the next day I'm just like I'm disgusting. Yeah. Like I can't breathe. Yeah.
And a lot of kids get that too.
Yeah, and we will touch on that a little bit more too.
Yeah. And then the other one that not a lot of people think of is sensitivity to other allergens. So like your sensitivity to dairy can also make you sensitive more to hay fever, can also make you more sensitive to cats, can also make you more sensitive to dogs. Basically your histamines are just like on fire. So you can become more sensitive to other things in life that aren't related to dairy. And you just think, like using Matt again as an example, because he has a dairy allergy that was never really diagnosed, but it's very obvious, is that when he used to have dairy when we first started dating, he couldn't be around our cat. When he eliminated dairy, he is now fine around the cat. So, interesting.
Coincidence? I think not.
I think not.
Should we check out some comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good
And
call.
then we'll go into the next.
Yeah.
I am convinced that dairy is a huge factor into me being diagnosed with MS in 2004. Since giving up dairy 3 years ago, I have not had any new symptoms, lesions, and I also no longer have seasonal allergies. That's amazing, Alicia.
I've read things like that, but I've never met any. That's so exciting. And wow. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's incredible.
Yeah, I've never heard that before, but we were, like Kaylee and I were talking obviously a lot about this earlier today, and we were saying how dairy has similar effects that diet pop has on your bones and on your system.
Yeah.
And so that is also something to note for yourself, Alicia, is that like dairy has similar effects to diet pop. So I know people that have MS that drink a lot of diet pop and their symptoms will flare up. So if that is maybe something you consume, hopefully not, eliminate that too. And yeah, because they both have very similar effects. So I never thought of dairy being related to MS, but I can see why, because Diet Pop is, and they both have similar properties in the way they metabolize in your body. Next one. I understood 10 to 12 strains of probiotics, but 50 billion per dose.
I know, it's a lot.
Yeah. I have cut out dairy in my coffee, replaced with coconut almond milk, and feel so much better. That's awesome, Kathy. And can you say what you feel better on? I know a lot of people mention mucus if they have dairy often in their coffee, so I'd love to know what you notice.
I do want to also chime in. Don't feel bad that you need to go and get a 50 billion. It's especially higher amounts for people that really need, like the probiotics. Like, so my boyfriend, for example, has IBS. He needs a high amount to have any sort of relief. So if you feel good with that and you're eating like other things that have probiotics on it, you're probably fine. And then maybe even once in a while, just like take 2 in a day or something like that.
Anything else? Suffered from chronic sinus infections, gave up dairy, and they were gone. That's awesome, Ash. Love hearing that.
Well, that was me too. I was talking to Ashley about it today. I actually did get my adenoids taken out as a kid.
Yeah.
Or do you want me to save that story for later?
No, it's okay if you want
so
to.
My whole life as a kid was so stuffed up. I could never, ever breathe. I took an allergy pill every day. And finally my mom was like, what is going on? So I went and I got my adenoids taken out, hoping that would help. At the time, I just connected these dots a few years ago. I drank a shit ton of milk. I grew up on a farm. However, it was unpasteurized. We actually did drink it raw, full fat. So like
the best kind.
The best you can get, yes. But I clearly was having issues. My whole life I've had, even after I got the adenoids taken out, I still always had sinus issues. In the last 2 years, 3 years, especially in the last 2 years, I've really been removing it. I can't believe the difference in my breathing. I can't believe I went so long. I used to have to sleep with nose strips every night just to breathe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's incredible how common that is.
Yeah.
And how many children have to get their adenoids taken out as a result. I've been lactose intolerant since university. Up until the last year, I've still consumed it, taking lactate pills. But they don't seem to work as well as they used to. And my symptoms are way worse now. It's much easier on my body to just avoid it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, your body's telling you for a reason that it's rejecting it, right? So
yeah,
you just gotta listen to your body.
And just like going to the doctors and getting medication for something they can't put their finger on the problem, I mean, that the lactate pill is just gonna be covering up what's really going on. Like it's, you know the root of the problem, so eliminate the root and you don't need the medication.
Yeah.
You're most welcome. Is this freezing a lot for anyone else? I'm not sure.
Oh, I hope not.
I've been suffering from pustules on my hands, very painful and inconvenient. Got my allergy testing yesterday and it came back positive for dairy and corn allergy. Hopefully cutting these out will make my hands feel better. They have so many effects on your skin. Your skin's your biggest organ. So if your body's having a hard time metabolizing something, digesting something, eliminating it from your body, 100% it could come out.
The best way to figure out if there's something going on your inside, if it's coming out on the outside.
Yeah.
Because it's got to get rid of it somehow, and if it can't get it out through the proper way, through the digestive and then going through the intestines, it's going to start leaking through and getting it wherever it can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like me getting my tits out. It did major for my skin. My auntie told me to have dairy at least 24 hours before diving because it increases my mucus production so significantly it makes it harder to clear your ears. Wow. Well, it's nice. Does that help you then? I don't really understand. Oh, not to have dairy. I'm sorry. I read it wrong. To not have dairy for at least 24 hours before diving.
I didn't get it at first. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that makes way more sense. We might have to go into other stuff and we'll get into this. I got higher levels of probiotic, but I was going to the bathroom so much, so now 10 billion seems to work for me.
I love the honest posts.
We have cut out, we'll read 2 more, okay, and then we're going to move on. We have cut out milk out of my daughter. Sorry, we have cut out milk for my daughter, but she loves yogurt, and I have noticed she gets very bloated after eating yogurt. Do you ladies have any suggestions with some dairy-free?
Yes.
Or I can replace the yogurt? Yes.
Yeah,
so
we're going to list them off in a bit.
Yeah. You're freezing and skipping. Well, that's a bummer. Don't really know what to do about that.
We should probably move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Because everybody can read what they're saying. Right? Yeah. And we will definitely read your comments later on.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the benefits of going dairy-free, but we thought before we do that, we should talk about just dairy and how addictive it can be, because we know we get a lot of resistance. A lot of people will shut down the idea before they even consider the research and the benefits because they're addicted.
Yeah.
And they don't, it's like if somebody's an alcoholic, not obviously that's this bad, but if somebody is an alcoholic and you bring up they're an alcoholic, they're like, no, like they're just not ready to go there. Like if somebody is really highly addicted to dairy, specifically cheese, they can't even fathom letting it go. So immediately their defense goes up and they're like, no, this isn't bad for me. I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to go find the studies that support dairy being positive and like a positive thing in your life. And so we kind of wanted to touch on how it's a really addictive thing. And what is interesting is that dairy actually produces something in your body called casomorphin. Which is a morphine property. So like it actually stimulates parts of your brain like morphine would. Yes, it does not make you high. It does actually make you calm. It doesn't make you high per se, but it does produce and release all those chemicals in your brain that make you very addicted to it. That's why if it's around, people have a really hard time not having it, specifically cheese.
Yeah. Cheese was mine.
Yeah.
And I will say, I was one of those people when I would hear people say I'm like, nope, dairy is good for you. I would go and find, and so here's my question to you. If you're really anti what we're saying and you're like, no, I refuse to believe this. Why? Like ask yourself, why are you so passionate about it? Why are you so sure that you are not going to get rid of it and that you can't get rid of it and that it's good for you? Mm-hmm. We're not saying that you have to believe us. We're saying we've done the research. This isn't just our opinion. Mm-hmm. We've done the research for years, but again, we went over everything today. We spent hours making sure that we don't want to misstep. We don't want to misquote. We don't want to give false information. We are super passionate. We both were addicted to dairy. Mm-hmm. I never thought that I'd be able to go dairy free. I'm not 100%. Like I have my days, but yeah. Just I wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah. So just
why do you feel the rage?
Just consider if you're very resistant to the idea, that could be because you're addicted to it. Plus you've been like, I don't know, like
conditioned.
Yeah,
conditioned. We've been told our whole lives.
Yeah.
We've been told our whole lives that it's good for us, and that it's. You feel like you've been lied to. That you're like, there's no way that the world is so corrupt that I would be told dairy's good for me when it's not. I understand that. Like it took me years to get to the point where I finally was like, you know what? I can't even fight this anymore. It's gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah. So
believe me, I wish it was a superfood. I would love it.
Yes, I know, right? So now let's go over the benefits. So we obviously promote it with Royally Fit Online. We promote it with our own personal clients and stuff. One of the biggest reasons is weight loss and energy and digestion and stuff. But yeah, there are lots of benefits of going dairy free. It's not just because we're saying it's bad for you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you wanted to go.
Well, just one of the first ones is digestion. It's really hard for your body to digest dairy, and we've said before, a lot of people get constipated, a lot of people have diarrhea, they just can't digest it. We literally don't have the enzymes in our body to digest it. When you're not able to digest something, you're not eliminating it properly. So it's not going through you the way that it's supposed to. And it can, and a lot of people, we have issues with our intestinal like permeability, it can actually like leak out of your intestines, and then it's just kind of floating around in your body. And as soon as that happens, that's when the histamine starts to be released. So that's when your red flags are happening in your body. There's a foreign substance in my body. So histamine's coming out, which means allergies, and it's gonna cause inflammation. Inflammation is the root of all disease. So like we said, you might not feel a stomach ache, you might not feel a headache, you might not feel mucusy, but maybe you have like chronic knee problems. Maybe you have something else, like maybe you have something where you can't sleep. When it's floating through your body, every single person is going to react differently to it. So you might have no idea that you have an intolerance because it's such random things that will come out.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, if you eliminate that from your diet, and we're not saying 100% of the time, never have dairy again in your life, but if you eliminate it, for the most part, we still consume dairy once in a while, you're gonna have an easier time losing weight, you're not gonna be as bloated, you're not gonna be constipated, and if you get diarrhea, then your stools are not gonna be as loose, you're gonna notice a massive improvement in your skin. Like a lot of people that suffer from acne eliminate dairy, and gone.
It's kind of crazy when they eliminate dairy and gluten, how often people are like, my skin just completely cleared up. Like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And then the one thing that we wanted to touch on is that there are some studies that support that it helps to reduce your risk of cancer, but also if you have cancer, it reduces the rapid growth of a cancer cell. So we won't get into all those studies, but yeah, there are some studies that have linked it to...
Well, the cancer thing makes sense, and what I was just saying earlier is it causes inflammation, and inflammation causes all disease. Cancer is one of those diseases. Autoimmune diseases are those diseases. So if you're struggling with some sort of autoimmune disease and you can't really figure out what's going on, what's the harm in trying going dairy-free? Yeah. If nothing changes, by all means, you go right back to your old ways, but I guarantee you, you will see improvements. If you do it for like at least a week, you will see improvements.
And the one thing I think we should touch on that we actually have written down here is that it also helps your bones to go dairy-free. So when your body's not in a constant acidic state, then it's not going to be drawing calcium from your
acidity.
Yeah, dairy promotes acidity. So if you're not having dairy all the time, it's not going to be drawing the calcium from your bones. So eliminating it can actually have a really positive effect on your bones, which sounds so counterintuitive to what you guys have been taught, as well as us.
And while you're still being told by your doctor, but we were just reading a study this afternoon. It was saying they took a group of 12-year-olds, studied them for 6 years. One group consumed dairy, one did not. And there was no change in their bone density from either kid. It was like the exact same. And what they did find, though, was that physical activity had way more of an impact on strengthening your bones than dairy ever did. So if you're worried about brittle bones, eat foods that are high in calcium that aren't dairy, and work out and lift weights. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If you're worried about osteoporosis, dairy's gonna promote it. I'm sorry, it encourages osteoporosis, and that one is probably gonna get people like, but yeah,
it is not good. We have the highest propensity for osteoporosis in North America. And
the world. Like North America has the highest in the world.
Yeah, North America has the highest in the world, and we consume more dairy, conventional dairy, than anybody else in the world. So it's kind of a bad sign. I think we should skip over these for now.
Yeah, I totally do too.
So now the biggest question we get, and actually Kaylee even got it today once we posted that we were doing this, is that, well, what about goats? Because we don't promote having cow's dairy. We challenge you guys to avoid it as much as possible for your health, for your weight loss, for your skin, all the kind of reasons that we just listed. But we do understand that you will see us often having goat's dairy. So we wanted to kind of explain why we promote having goat's dairy. We're not saying go and like take down, a million things of goat products a day. But I'm gonna let Kaylee kind of explain cow's dairy versus goat's dairy, and then we're gonna go into the other alternatives that you guys can have if you're gonna be eliminating milk and cheese. Yeah,
there are people that are so severely allergic and sensitive that even goat's dairy will not work for them. However, the majority of the population, goat's dairy will be fine, and here's why. Cow's dairy has a protein that's called actually like A1 casein. Okay, and it wasn't always this way. Cows, back when our grandmas and grandpas were alive and doing their thing, they weren't producing the same casein that's being produced now. They are producing more of the A2, which doesn't promote inflammation the same way. It actually can help detoxify the body, and it is high in glutathione.
Yeah, which is detoxifying.
Yeah, which is detoxifies your body. Yeah. So goat's dairy is actually A2 casein, where cow's dairy is A1. So they are completely different the way they are digested. It's way easier for your body to digest. And what's awesome about it is that it actually has like the perfect ratio of omega-3 to omega-6. So we're always told that omegas are good for us. However, omega-6s are only good for us in moderation. And our generation, our society, we get way too many omega-6s now because they're high in oils that are not good for us, like corn oil, sapphire oil, all the things that are making produced food, like the Twinkies and all that stuff, are super high in omega-6s. Omega-6s, when they're not balanced, promote inflammation and everything else we were talking about, where omega-3 does the opposite. So ideally, the ratio would be 1-to-1. However, in North America, the average ratio from omega-3 to omega-6 is 1-to-20. That is gonna wreak havoc on your body. But goat's dairy has a much better ratio. It's basically a 1-to-1. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's easier to digest. It's gonna help to detoxify you. It's more absorbable calcium as well. So just overall, it's amazing. However, same thing, you wanna make sure you're still getting quality.
Yes.
It's not nearly mass produced the same way that cow's dairy is. I'm sure it is going to be at some point because people are really learning about dairy and the negative side effects of it. But as of now, for the most part, you're good. Just, yeah, sheep's milk, goat's milk,
yeah,
good in my books.
And some advice for those of you that think that feta is automatically going to be goats. It's because of conventional farming now and making things cheaper, a lot of feta that you will go to buy is actually made with cows. Yeah. So make sure that if you do go to buy feta cheese, that you look at the back and you make sure that it is made with sheep's or goat's milk, no cow's dairy.
Yeah. And the taste difference is unbelievable. It is more expensive. Yes, it is. That's one of the annoying things. Goat's milk is more expensive. However, to me, health trumps price always. And it makes it so that you actually don't want to eat as much because you're like, I spent $10 on that feta. I'm not just going to crush it. But the difference in taste from sheep's milk and goat's milk feta versus the baloney cow's milk feta that's out there now is once you switch, you will never want to go back. Yeah. It's unbelievable. But there's so many different goat's kind of cheeses out there now, like not just the spreadable, like soft goat cheese. There's goat's cheddar, goat's mozzarella, goat's brie, like there's goat's cheese curds they had at the farmer's market. You can basically get really everything that you want to get from cheese, because that's the hardest thing to give up, you can get from goats. Yeah. So that's the good news.
And I was just thinking, I'm like, we forgot to tell people at the beginning.
I know.
I'm like, we are giving away a free 6 recipes of our favorite, some of our favorite, we have many, some of our favorite dairy-free recipes. So make sure you use the link above in the title of the Facebook Live, and all you have to do is enter your email, and then you'll be automatically sent those 6 recipes.
There's some delicious ones on there. We got ice cream. We've got mac and cheese. Like there are some really awesome recipes on there that you can...
Yeah, homemade almond milk.
Yeah, we do have a recipe to make your own almond milk.
Yeah.
And it's easier than you think.
Yes. So we kind of just talked about cow's dairy versus goat's dairy. So I'm sure you can assume that one of our alternatives to cow's dairy is going to be goat's product. So, but like Kaylee said, make sure that you're finding it from a good source. If you are going to go get goat's yogurt, kind of still use the application that we're talking about with cow's dairy. Is try and get full fat, try and get plain. Add your own berries, add your own raw honey or something if you want to flavor it. So yeah, that's a good place to start with the alternative, and then we're going to go through other alternatives for milk, cheese, and yogurt. So other alternatives for milk, if you're going to eliminate cow's dairy, is coconut milk, almond milk, rice milk, cashew milk, and goat's milk.
And hemp milk is a big thing now too.
Yeah, I actually haven't tried it.
Yeah, I haven't actually tried it either.
Yeah.
But so, I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, and they're like well priced. If you go and you get like, find which one you like, and a lot of the times you can get like the big cartons or even like the 10 pack for $10 for 6 cartons, which is pretty good. So they're reasonably priced. I think they're delicious. If you are like a thicker milk drinker, then you're gonna want to start with like the thicker type ones, like the coconut milk, the cashew milk, and maybe even the goat's milk. But you can kind of graduate to an almond milk if you want to go that route, because it is easier to find.
Play around with it. See what you like. See what you don't like.
Just don't give up.
In the can, I use all the time in smoothies to make homemade vegan ice cream. Like you don't have to give up all your favorite foods. I promise you, in 2018, there are so many options that you can still eat your dirty mac and cheese. You can still have ice cream without the side effects of dairy.
Yeah. So your cheese options are going to be goat's cheese. And then there's other vegan type cheeses besides goat's cheese. There's Earth Island and Daya, which are like the most popular ones you're going to find at the grocery store. The only thing we want to suggest is that you don't have them all the time, because they are filled with modified ingredients. So they are made
they're processed.
They're processed and they're made in a chemical lab. There are modified food ingredients in them. So like goats would actually be more ideal because it's a little bit closer to nature. So you can enjoy them if you want to be completely vegan. Just don't use them all the time. So the same thing goes for, and the cheeses, you can make your own out of, we don't have a recipe in the 6 recipes that we're giving away, but you can find a lot of them online.
Oh, there's so many recipes. Go to Pinterest and type in dairy-free cheese.
Yeah.
And a lot of health food stores now are carrying like quality. Like I saw like a vegan Gruyere the other day and like a vegan brie they're getting better and better all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And they're worth the money. And then your yogurt is the same thing. You got goats, Daya, and coconut and almond. But once again, watch the ingredients. A lot of them are filled with sugar. So like I get the Dia kind for Rowan, and sometimes I enjoy it myself as well. I like it because they're thicker like yogurt, like a traditional like thick yogurt that you have to mix up, and it has like the fruit and stuff in it, but it is higher in sugar and it does have some modified ingredients, so it's not something that we'd be consuming every day, but
and there are lots of recipes to make your own yogurt too.
Yeah. And
I don't do it because I don't like yogurt enough to bother.
Yeah.
That's not my weakness. Cheese is my weakness.
Yeah. Cheese, and I used to eat a lot of goat's yogurt, but I transitioned to, I don't eat it as much anymore for no other reason. I just got out of the habit, but I did actually really enjoy goat's yogurt mixed with berries and raw honey. But if you have it on its own, it's kind of sour, so it actually is a good sour cream replacement.
Yeah. And just also be aware that, no, it's not going to taste the exact same, but your palate does change.
Yes.
Like I used to eat junk food all the time over the years, and it doesn't take years, but just slowly make little changes. Understand that maybe it doesn't taste the exact same, but it will eventually satisfy that craving, and how good you feel is going to make it so worth it. I don't feel deprived. I enjoy my cheese when if I have a girls' night and there's like wine and cheese, like I'll have a bit. Like I'm not going to lie, but for the most part, I don't even bring it into my house.
Yeah, exactly. I can't even remember the last time I had cow's dairy.
Yeah.
Like I actually enjoy going to the butcher's and getting like decadent goat's cheese. Like
I have a question that you guys might know the answer to that I don't actually know. You know, like buffalo mozzarella? Mm-hmm.
I've never found that.
Is it made from like buffalo milk? And then if so, is buffalo milk easier?
It is supposed to be easier to digest.
I'm going to look this up. I should have looked this up before. I didn't even think about it, but I love buffalo mozzarella. Like,
yeah.
I love it.
I didn't look it up,
so
but
if
I feel
could
like
have
I
that
read
on my
somewhere.
pizza,
yeah,
then I would be really, because it melts down. Oh, fingers crossed. If anybody knows, we should scroll this up because it's like, we haven't seen anything in a while. Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
Quiet mode. Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I brought it
There you
back.
go.
Okay. So if anybody knows if buffalo mozzarella is good, let me know. It would be amazing.
Yeah, you could even look it up quickly. But yeah, no, I feel like it's supposed to be easier to digest, but it's also really hard to find. What are you doing, Pantera?
She's supposed to be the star of the show.
And she's just in like her butthole, and she's just like purring like crazy and going crazy. Like she loves Kaylee.
She
like,
does. We have a bond.
Yeah, she's basically like drooling the whole time Kaylee's here. So what we want to do is we're going to go into a couple exceptions to the rules, but before we do that, we wanted to challenge you guys to eliminate dairy for 7 days, just like we do during our 7-day Banish the Bloat. So a good way to do that would be to sign up, check out those recipes that we have, go online, check out some other dairy-free recipes, do it for 7 days, and if you don't think you're allergic, just do it for 7 days, challenge that idea, challenge this concept, even that little bit of you put in your coffee, get rid of it, and then challenge and see how your body responds. See how quickly your palate transforms and starts to enjoy these other foods. One thing that we should also mention is that a lot of people have a hard time getting rid of their daily coffee with cream, and we could even link your bulletproof one that you did.
Yeah, that was one of my very first Facebook Lives. I'm mad awkward in it, but I'm happy to send it your way.
Yeah, but like it's actually amazing because it's a really good substitute for those of you that really enjoy cream and sugar in your coffee.
I make dairy-free lattes and iced coffees and stuff all the time.
Yeah, and it's so nice because it has like the coconut oil in it or the MTC oil, and so it gives it that richness.
Yeah.
And if you blend it almost makes it like frothy, like a latte. It's a really
and it's
nice
amazing
alternative.
how many places now you can get dairy-free coffee. Like Starbucks, they have like coconut milk, almond milk, soy milk. Like it's getting easier and easier. So here's like what we were talking about earlier today when I said that there's people that resist it, and I was like, okay, fine, resist it. But if you can go 7 days dairy-free and you don't feel a difference, then like I said, you do you. But we challenge you to try it and just do it. Just see how it feels. It's an experiment. Mm-hmm. What's the worst that can happen? You miss dairy for a week? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You might get clearer skin and better shits. Oh my God.
Yeah, you're not going to be as bloated. You're going to look amazing in your summer dress and your bikinis.
Believe me, we've worked with us and then a lot of clients that were resistant. And once they made that change, they're like, thank you. We're so happy we made that change.
Yeah, it's remarkable how quickly people can lose weight once they eliminate something from their body that was creating so much inflammation. Mm-hmm. Like it is honestly mind blowing. Like even in the 10-day Tighten and Tone and then the 7-day Banish the Bloat that we've ran, like the big difference that people see in their weight. A lot of it's bloating, a lot of it's water retention, and a lot of that comes from them just eliminating dairy. Some of it's wheat as well, or gluten, but it's remarkable how quickly it can make an impact on that. So if you're really getting frustrated because you're like, fuck it, I'm eating so healthy, like why am I not losing weight? I'm working out so hard. Maybe you're having just that little bit of dairy every day and you don't think it's much, but it's creating just enough to have that inflammation in your body.
Or to keep that addiction going.
Yeah, that too. And then you eliminate it, and then you go through a couple days of like, being addicted and feeling like shit, and then all of a sudden it just starts falling off. It's incredible.
I like that description.
Because you actually poo it out too. Yeah.
So exceptions to the rules?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah. You should talk about exceptions to the rules because, first of all, before we go into the exception of the rules, let's just say that Kaylee and I do sometimes enjoy dairy, cow's dairy to be specific. It is rare, but we do enjoy it sometimes. So we don't want this as like a fear-mongering thing. Like,
yeah, and you're definitely more sensitive to it than I am.
Yeah, so, yeah. And like, I have to admit, like, I avoid it. Not even it doesn't even have to do with like, I'm going to gain weight. It's so unhealthy. I don't want to eat it. Like sometimes it's vanity. I'm like, I don't want to look bloated. I don't want to be gassy. I don't want my face to break out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, I do avoid it, for those kind of reasons. But in general, like, I just know I feel better not having it, and you will find motivation from that as well. But there are exceptions to the rules, which I also agree with when it comes to if you are going to consume dairy and how to have the right kinds of dairy.
Yeah.
How do you wean a child who's 3 off of dairy? My son would notice the difference if I just switch him. Your son would notice the difference? That's a good question.
What is he consuming that's dairy? That's the first question. Is it he wanting milk?
Is it milk or
cheese?
Yogurt?
Because you could probably, like, what I would suggest is that even start mixing like half and half. So if he's drinking milk, maybe just put in like half milk, half some sort of almond milk. They even now, like, a really good chocolate almond milk that tastes like chocolate milk. So you could kind of just start mixing or just switch it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, just see what he says. And if he freaks out, like, I would just say slowly start integrating different things. Milk, yeah. So maybe try something like that. Try mixing or making your own, even getting them in the kitchen and say, like, we're going to make milk today by ourselves. And you can sign up, use that recipe that's in that. We've got the almond milk there. It's a little bit sweeter. It's got like dates in it and cinnamon, and it's amazing. So maybe get him excited like that. Say, let's make milk today. And if he starts to like that, make it exciting for him. Not that you're taking something away, that you're adding something exciting in.
Yeah. And if he is really addicted to the milk, just know that like you might go through a couple little tantrums and stuff, but he will adjust. Children need calories. They want calories, and they will consume it if they need it.
And you can buy goat's milk too. Like they have full, in the health food section, full cartons of goat's milk and stuff now as well.
Rowan would not drink that. I tried several times. She was not into it. I did want her to have like the higher fat milk because I wasn't going to be doing cow's dairy. Some kids don't like it. I would suggest, like, if you are going to do the goat's milk, to definitely do the half and half. Don't go straight to the cold turkey.
It's more sour.
It's definitely more sour. It would be very obvious change. So yeah, and I've even told old clients in the past that switch. They're not 3, but that switch from like regular milk to almond milk. I say start actually with the sweetened stuff because sometimes it's that sweetness that you're looking for. So I will say have the chocolate or even have the sweetened almond vanilla flavor, and then like just like your palate adjusts to anything, and then eventually you get down to like the regular unsweetened. Yeah. So yeah, because they might even just like that sweetness. Thanks.
It's a comfort thing at night. Yeah.
Yeah. That's tough. That's tough. I wish I had better answers. And Kaylee and I were saying today, there's a lot of things about kids that we need to do more research about. Obviously, I have Rowan. She's never been on dairy and she didn't have formula, but I feel like we could do a really powerful Facebook Live for people that have children that are formula age drinking or consuming a lot of milk still.
Yeah, it's definitely a Facebook in its own, and we would really want to do that one justice and have lots of research because we don't want to give you false information or, oh, we think we read a study once. Like, we really do care. And so we just want to make sure that we're always prepared to give you the best answers that we can.
Yeah, for sure. So hang in there is what we're saying. You might get some better answers in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk
exceptions to the rules. So for those of you that aren't severely allergic to dairy, I'm not severely. I definitely notice that I don't feel as well and I have symptoms, but I'm not like Ashley where it's serious. So some people are actually fine with some really quality dairy products. So things like kefir. It's fermented, so it's not the same as milk. So it actually can have quite a few health benefits. It's high in probiotics, and it's not going to have the same impact. So for those of you that aren't as sensitive, that might be something that you want to enjoy, and you can put in your smoothies and all that jazz. What was the one that I wanted to talk about ghee and clarified butter, and just even organic grass-fed butter. So ghee is butter that's been, what's it called? What do they do to it? They clarify it. They like cook it down, and like they remove the casein, and they remove the actual lactose from it. So ghee, technically, even though it comes from dairy milk, is actually dairy-free because they've taken the lactose out and they've taken out that A1 casein.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. However, it's expensive. It's not cheap. It's high in fat. It's high in quality fats. So if you can afford something like that, by all means, it's very good for you. Another way is to just, if you want to keep consuming butter, butter doesn't have the same impact that like cheese and especially milk. Like milk is the #1 culprit, and then like cheese is not great either, but milk seems to be the one that triggers the most.
Yeah.
So butter doesn't have the same reaction. So a lot of health like practitioners and a lot of like even this book here where he's saying like, no, get rid of dairy. It's gotta go. It's gotta go. Dr. Axe, who I'm obsessed with, gotta go. They do all seem to agree that butter is kind of the exception to the rule. But make sure that you are getting grass-fed organic butter. And just like I had said earlier of why you want that grass-fed is it's gonna change that ratio of the omega-3 to the omega-6, and it's gonna have that better balance for you. It's high in the healthy fats. So I actually was saying to Ashley today, I didn't know if I wanted to bring it up today, but I've been using a butter substitute for the last like year or so because I really wanted to eliminate as much dairy as I could. And I think I turned a little bit of a blinder on because I was like, well, it's not dairy, but I knew it had ingredients in it that weren't ideal. And for the last like couple of weeks, it's been bugging me. I just had this feeling that if I didn't want to consume it anymore. And then reading this book confirmed it more for me. And then I did some research, and I'm a part of a lot of different nutrition groups. And somebody was asking, like, what do you guys recommend for like vegan butter substitutes? And most of them were saying, you know, the ones that come packaged that taste like butter. Well, what's making it taste like butter? Why does it look like butter? Why does it have the same texture as butter? Additives. So I said to Ashley today, I'm like, I have an announcement to make. I am going to start purchasing organic grass-fed butter again and get rid of the processed stuff and go back to the butter where I know I'll be fine with it. It was just more me being like, I gotta be dairy-free. So make it work for you. Like Ashley probably, like, I don't know, butter might give you a reaction. I know you had the ghee and you were okay.
Yeah, I had the ghee and I was okay. And I just don't have butter often enough to know.
Yeah.
I would have to try it out, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good question. But I'm not against it. Like when Kaylee told me that, she's like, I thought you were gonna be upset.
Well, I was like, it's, you get in your head. And
I was like, what? I was like, no, like I completely agree with this kind of stuff as long as it's organic and it's grass fed. It's more of the milk, the yogurt, the cheeses.
Yeah.
So yeah, which is funny because that goes also against everything we've learned is like butter is so high in cholesterol, don't have it. But it's actually, for me, I believe it has some benefits.
Oh, it does. It's got that high healthy fat. Healthy fats are where it's at. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, healthy fats are where it's at.
Yeah.
So that one I'm bringing back into my life.
Yeah, we actually, when I'm putting like butter on my toast, we actually put coconut oil and then I sprinkle salt on top to give it more of like a butter type flavor. Kelly doesn't like it because she finds it just tastes too much like
love coconut oil for baking.
Yeah.
But normally I would use like avocado oil or something instead.
Yeah. So if you are afraid that you're a little bit more sensitive, or if you just don't want to buy butter because you're not going to use it enough, you could always try that. I really enjoy it. I'm adjusted to it now. And yeah, but you just can't put coconut oil on your toast and expect it to taste like butter.
Yeah.
Like it has to be coconut oil and salt. I know it sounds weird, and there are flavored coconut oils.
But again, why are they flavored?
Exactly. So it's not something that I have often. For me, it's more of like a treat if I want to melt it down and put it on my popcorn. But yeah, in general, I just get the plain coconut oil and then I put the salt on it as like a flavor.
Yeah. Shoot, I had something I was going to add there, but I don't remember. Something about, maybe it was just that I don't even use butter that often anyway, so I don't know.
Yeah. It's not like you're going to have butter on everything all day long.
But like when I'm making potatoes, like mashed potatoes, I'm some butter in there.
Yeah, and you know what? And actually having butter on top of your vegetables is actually amazing for absorbing all the nutrients.
Yeah, so you need fat with your veggies to absorb them.
Yeah, like I actually put coconut oil or I just like put olive oil on top of Rowan's vegetables. Ours too, but like she won't know vegetables any other way unless they're raw.
Like vitamins A, D, E, and K are fat soluble. That means if in order for them to absorb into your body properly, they need to be combined with healthy fats. So if you're worried about not getting enough of those vitamins and you're you need to start adding fat. So if you're eating foods that are high in those, but you have no fat on the plate, you're not going to absorb them the same way that if you have fat. So it doesn't have to be butter. Like it could be avocado, any type of oil, drizzling some avocado oil or olive oil, anything like that, that'll be good for that.
Yeah, for sure. Another cool thing about butter, ghee, coconut oil is that it's really good for cooking. Like we were talking about. I don't know what she's playing with the yellow box. So she's driving me nuts. Let's go. Rowan. Yeah.
Pantera.
We do the same thing. Does coconut milk have a ton of sugar in it?
Depends on the brand, and it depends on if it's flavored or not.
Yeah, so look at the back. I actually, when we order coconut milk, we actually try to get the stuff that's in a can, and I will go in, like, 'cause we do a lot of click and collect, and I will go in and read the ingredients, and I try to make sure it doesn't have a lot of ingredients in it. There's no additives.
Yeah.
We switched from milk to water, but she didn't want that either. It is time for the bedtime bottles to go for us. Yeah, and that'll be uncomfortable for a couple days, but you guys will both get past it. She's clearly at one point not going to be having, like 15 years old with bottles. Like we all have to go through, all parents have to go through that point of getting past that. Flax milk. Do you know anything about flax milk?
No, but I mean, I guess it would make sense. If you can make hemp milk or anything like this, I'm assuming that you would be able to make flax milk.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Have you made it or have you had it?
Yeah, Tiffany, if you're still on and watching, I'd love to know.
And if you have a recipe, link it up. People would love that. And just a reminder too, guys, if you want these recipes, like they're totally Really Fit approved, they're delicious.
And totally free.
Yeah, then just click that link and you will get them 6 different dairy-free, and not just like things that wouldn't have dairy in them. These are things that would have dairy in them normally that are going to taste amazing without it.
Yeah. Courtney said, thanks, ladies. I'm going to try and find different yogurts for my daughter. She is so picky. I will look up recipes to make our own. Yeah, that's a great idea, Courtney. And then, like, you could try the goats too, like we were saying earlier, and just add your own flavors to it. Your turmeric latte recipe is so awesome. Yes, it is delicious.
Isn't it good? Hi, Pantera. You are hyper.
Let's see if anybody said anything. Yes, goat's feta is so yummy. Any suggestions where to get goat's cheese other than feta? I have a hard time finding other. I know, it's so gross. I have a hard time finding other cheeses in regular grocery stores. Yes, so goat's cheese is often in their organic section.
However, when you go to the deli part, so where they have all the brie and all the cheeses, you will be able to find goat's cheese, like the soft cheese. And lately they have the goat's feta a lot of the places, and you'll see sometimes like big bricks that'll say like goat's mozzarella or something. So it's kind of scattered. Yeah, I actually don't get my goat's mozzarella from the health food section that often anymore.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they don't. Sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't, but I usually can find it in like the superstore. There's like a PC brand of like goat's mozzarella like this. And it's a square with other goat's cheeses in there.
Oh, interesting. And we went to the farmer's market last Friday. We're going again tomorrow, and they have a goat station there. So if anybody that is on here that has like a local farmer's market, I bet you that there is some sort of goat's cheese that you can get there too, and it's so delicious.
Oh my God, I'm getting addicted to it.
Yeah, and health food stores too. Since I had kids, I can't have dairy. Cow makes my stomach so sore. Yeah, that happens. Our hormones, our digestive tracts, a lot of things change when we have kids. I hear that often. Thanks for the recipes. You're so welcome. Good point about the feta. Sheep's goat feta is so yummy.
Right?
I can't do cow or goat, but I was told buffalo was fine. Oh, okay, thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, I'm going to look into this because...
Yeah, I feel like I read it. I've never done research on it, but I feel like I read about
I want to do homemade pizza this weekend. It's supposed to be rainy, and so I've got like some pizza crust from the farmer's market.
Yeah.
I've got that sausage, and I'm like, oh, buffalo mozzarella would be...
Yeah.
If not, I'll just use the goats that I have.
Okay, so I'm going to read like one more here, and then we're going to head down to the bottom of the comments, read a couple more there, and then we're probably going to wrap up, guys. I have never been a big milk drinker and hated yogurt as a kid. I forced myself to try every different yogurt as an adult to find one I could tolerate because we were told it was good for us. I know, funny how that happens, eh, Cheryl? Cheese and ice cream are my occasional dairy choices. With that said, I suffer from adult acne, never had it this bad as a teen. Sinus and allergy issues as well as joint problems. I'm excited to see some, if not all these issues, disappear from going dairy-free.
Keep us posted, please.
I was just going to say that. Please
do
it.
To hear.
Challenge yourself. Please do it. And we have to actually mention that there's a lot of dairy and products that you wouldn't even think too. So just become familiar with reading the back. Like there's milk products and chips. There's
what about those crackers we both used to eat?
Nut Thins.
Nut Thins.
Yeah.
Why is there dairy in plain Nut Thins?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I ate them for years.
Yeah.
I did an Instagram post on it one time. I was like, oh my God, I just read the ingredients.
Yeah. Yeah. Nut Thins. Like so Cheryl, basically I just want to say that, so I don't want you to get discouraged if all of a sudden you make these like major changes, but maybe there's something that you're eating on a daily basis that you don't even think has it in it, like your crackers. Do you know what I mean? So just make sure that if you're going to eliminate it completely, to see if it has a positive effect on the acne, the joints, and all that kind of stuff, and your sinuses.
Because people will even forget to be like, oh, I got like Cool Ranch Doritos, and you're like, well, there's dairy in that.
Yeah.
So it's hidden in a lot of places.
Yeah. There's sugar-free coconut milk. I buy it. Good Karma brand, unsweetened. 1 carb, no sugar. Interesting. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
I enjoy hemp milk with cereal. Oh yeah, it would be. I love.
I just got another big bag of hemp, so I'm going to make hemp milk because you can make it in your Vitamix.
Oh yeah.
It's basically just water and hemp, and then you get a cheesecloth and like do it. So when I do it, I'll make sure to Instagram it for you guys. You can watch.
I've done it with almonds. It's very good.
Yes, and cashews.
Your daughter would love Halt Goats Farm walking trails. See the goats, free my boys love it. And cute store with goat milk soaps, cheeses, and free samples.
Where is it?
Yeah, where is that?
We should totally go and do like a Facebook Live tour around there.
Well, Rowan loves the Oshawa zoo.
I love goats.
Like she was obsessed with the goats there. Like I couldn't believe how fearless she was. She was just like going like, so yeah, she would love the goats.
I'm going to have my own goats one day.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
On my little petting zoo I'm going to have.
Yeah, you should. Oh my God, I can only see you with all the time you are with Pinter. Oh.
I'm going to have chickens, goats. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm going to make my own. Justin's going to be a beekeeper. He's decided.
Yeah.
We're going to live off the grid.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Hey, Leslie. So yeah, let us know if you guys have any more questions. It's a great topic, and I will inbox you. Oh, please do.
Yeah.
It's a great topic, and it can keep on going. We will check in for the next 24 hours. Make sure that you guys use the link in the description of basically the title of this Facebook Live, and that will link you by adding your email in. It will like directly send you those 6 recipes, the dairy-free recipes for the vegan mac and cheese, the homemade milk, the ice cream, and all that.
And we would really love it if you try them. Let us know what you think. Like you can take it, you could put up a picture, tag us on Instagram. You could post it on this page that you're watching us on. We would really love to know what you think of the recipes. If you're trying to go dairy-free, we're here to support you 100%.
Yeah, so we hope you guys enjoyed, and it was a nice refresher on why we are dairy-free and why that you should be considering that as a lifestyle as well.
Thanks so much for watching tonight, guys. We appreciate it.
And you're welcome. You're welcome, Tiffany. Bye.
Bye.